Hello, today I will be talking about my project and all the blueprints that I have shown above. I'll be talking about every single one of them and what they do. Basically, show a more clear example of them. Let's first start with the blueprint interface, which is right here. Apply some damage, pre-standard. It just is basically which amount of damage, how much damage I'm doing, and the damage causer, which is the pawn. Increment player score. This will be an event that I will call get team pre-standard team name, which is the enumerator, which is attached to right here, team blue, team red, and the team color. Player score, how much score the player has, if it's integer. Team score, this will be the red team and the blue team, away and home, both integer. Increment team score, this will be another event which I will call on the player state, which I'll show later on. This has the enumerator attached to it, which I made. Time remaining. This will be both pre-match and an in-game timer as well, which is an integer, which is in the game mode, which I will show later on. Game is active. This will be a boolean, yes and a no, that the player cannot move. I will show that next. Spawn new player, pre-standard player controller. This is just spawning new player. Set team, setting the get team pretty much, which is the same. Instead of an output, will be an input. Let's start with the player character. At the beginning of the blueprint, we have the input movement restriction. This is just the player cannot move before the pre-match timer goes to 0. Get game active is right here, which is the event. Restrict the movement if it's active, correct. Restricting the movement of right and left and move backward and forward. At our first event, we have the apply some damage. Damage causer, reduce the health of the player or the pawn, which is it can be the player or the enemy as well. Second sequence is the check if the pawn is dead. If the pawn is dead, we have another sequence going for play the ragdoll animation. Just pretty much just flops to the floor. Pretty standard ragdoll animation. Second sequence, increase the player score is player score and team score pretty much. So you can see I will have a player score and a team score at the top of the widget, which I'll show later on. Player score, get team score, and then I'm setting the team score at the end afterwards. Respawn a new player because obviously the player is dead, so I need to spawn a new one. Have a delay of 3 seconds. Game mode. Spawn a new player. This is calling from the game mode. Delay and then destroy the actor after it spawns. Next we have this is the line tracer, so I can pretty much show a line trace of shooting someone. Later on I will change this to have a gun, so I can actually shoot a gun instead of a line trace, but that will come later on. This is the line trace right here. This event, this here, which is right here. No, server right here. Get games active again. Server fire weapon, which is here, which we'll call the line trace. And then line trace, after it hits breaking hit result, it will apply some damage. We apply that 10% basically. And lastly, we have the body color, which honestly I don't really need this, but it's nice to have. It's just setting the player color, whichever team is the player is in. Pretty standard. All right, next let's move on to the game mode. Let's start with that. Game mode, pretty standard. I have the check the team if they join the game. If they do, then basically pick a team for whichever player. So let's say if I have 2 players, each of them will spawn in blue and red. If I have 3 players, and then it will just basically choose which one you spawn. It's a flip flop, as you can see, pretty standard flip flop. Choose between each one, and then boom, spawn a new player, red and blue. Spawn player at one of the team spawn points. Yep, I have 4 spawn points around, which I could show as well. Again, I'm calling the event, get team, team color, and then spawn deathmatch character, which I'm spawning the character, the blueprint character. And then I possess the character once it's spawned. Next, let's move on to the game state. Here is the this game state has the team score and player score. I call these events on the widget later on. Increment team score and add in the team score, which is the variables made right here. Integer, team score, team red, team blue, pre-match timer. Event begin play, set timer by handle. This is setting the pre-match timer. I have the game is active right here. The game is active when the timer is still ticking. If the timer is no, this is actually going off. This no, it's going on. Yeah, sorry, it's gone. This is set to true. If it's less than 0 or equal, can't move. Clear the handle, and then this is starting the match timer. I remove the there you go right here. I remove the game is active. Sorry, I remove the game is active right here, and clear the handle obviously for FPS issues. All the variables were stated right here, which are used. This is the game state. Let's move on to the game instance. This is for the main menu slash how to basically join the game. Host a session, custom event. I will call this custom event in the widget, which I'll show later on. Create a session and then open in the level, pretty much, when you host a session. Let's move on to the player controller. This is calling the UI, the main HUD UI, pretty much. That's all this is doing. I'm just calling the main UI. That's all that's attached to the player controller. This is the player state. There you go. Is what I was talking about. Event increment player score, and then I'm adding the personal players. Personal score is your own score. Like whoever gets the highest score basically gets a win at the end. Event set the team. I'm setting the teams and the player state. Enumerator, I've already showed this. Now let's move on to the widgets. This is the main UI widget. Main HUD, pretty much this will be the HUD. This right here will function as the game pre-match and the match timer. Both of them basically. Team score, team blue, team red. On the graph we have let's start with the away team. The away team will be the red team. I'm calling the actual team from the interface, and then I'm just setting it. These are just what do you call it? The text. I'm just basically creating a new function for the text, so it's much easier than using the event graph. Event graph have pretty much nothing. I did the same for all of them. Just pretty much calling and then setting the text of all three of them. And lastly, what we have is the main menu slash basically getting into the game. Click the host button, calling the game instance host session, which is the event that I showed on the game instance. Editable text. On click join button. This is basically joining the game that is already hosted. You cannot join a game that's not hosted, so you have to, someone has to host a game for you to join. If I was to click join instead of host, like the game would pretty much close because it doesn't have anything to join, pretty much. Because yeah, that's how this works. And finally, let's just show some gameplay. This will be 2-player. Let me host the game on here, and I will join the game on here. Since I hosted it on the other, there's the other player pretty much. I can pretty much control both of them, which I'll show in 1 second. As I can't move at the moment, I can only jump, and there you go. Timer is ticking down. Let me go on to the second player. I can shoot him. Wait, is there not this one I can't shoot? I think it's this one. Oh, there you go. It's this one. Shooting, and it should die. There you go, it's dead. And as you can see, Team Blue got 1, which is this one. This is Team Red. Oh, the timer is going down, so I don't think I can show the. Hold on, I'll play it again so I can show the red team. Host the game, and I will join on here. Okay, there you go. Just a little delay, I guess. I will show the red player score, basically the red team getting a score and killing the blue team as well. Shooting, 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 shooting. As you can see on the text on the right, I'm applying some damage. 50, hold on, 40, 30, 10, 11, 10, boom. And that's it, Team Red gets a score. The line trace, for some reason you can't see on here. There it goes, 2 points. Oh, I think there's a little bug. This red team does not get the team score. I will deal with this afterwards, I'll fix it. That's a little small bug that just came up to me right now, I just found. The other players, their personal score does not increase, but the team score increases. So I'll just need to fix that. But that's all for this demonstration. Thanks for watching, and I will update you on later on. Thanks.